Hey y'all, so today I'm going to be doing my BookTubeAthon TBR. I always love trying to complete all the challenges during the BookTubeAthon, and constructing my BookTubeAthon TBR is always one of my favorite things to do, and I love to see other people's BookTubeAthon TBR videos, so I am super excited to film this today. So the way I'm going to do this video structure-wise is I'm going to run through all of the challenges first, and then I'm going to run through all the books that I'm reading, because my books are kind of all over the place in terms of what challenges they fulfill, because some of them fulfill like 4 challenges and some of them just fulfill the challenge of reading 7 books. So just very briefly, here are the challenges for the 2016 BookTubeAthon. Challenge number 1 is to read a book with yellow on the cover. Challenge number 2 is to read a book only after sunset. Challenge number 3 is to read a book that you discovered through BookTube. Challenge number 4 is to read a book by one of your favorite authors. Challenge number 5 is to read a book that's older than you. Challenge number 6 is to read and watch a book and its movie adaptation. And then of course, as always, challenge number 7 is to read 7 books. Okay, so now moving on to the actual books that I'll be reading for the BookTubeathon in no particular order. So when I heard challenges 4, 5, and 6, immediately one author came to mind, and I became determined to read at least one of this author's books in the BookTubeathon, and that author is Agatha Christie, and the first book by her that I've chosen to read for the BookTubeathon is Peril at End House. So as I've mentioned many times on my channel, Agatha Christie is one of my favorite authors, and this is one of the books in her Poirot series, which I have been reading for several years now. Technically speaking, this book could actually fulfill all the challenges except for a book that you discovered through BookTube. Agatha Christie's name is in yellow on the cover. I could totally read this all after sunset. Obviously, like I said, she's one of my favorite authors. This is a book-to-movie adaptation in the BBC Poirot series, which technically is a TV show, but they're movie length. And of course, because this is an Agatha Christie book, this was written before I was born, and this will also be adding to the 7 books that I'll be reading for the BookTubeathon. You see why I didn't just go challenge by challenge and put a book in each challenge? This one basically can do it all. Plus, this book is under 300 pages, so that makes it perfect for a readathon. However, that's way too easy, so obviously I picked some more books. The second book that I will be reading in the BookTubeathon is also an Agatha Christie novel, and that is The Body in the Library. This is not a Poirot novel, this is actually a Miss Marple mystery. I've never read a Miss Marple book, and this seems to be the most popular one, so I decided I would go ahead and give it a try. Once again, it's got yellow on the cover. I could read it after sunset. It's by one of my favorite authors. It was written before I was born, and it's also going to be one of the 7 books that I read for the BookTubeathon, so it's doing like quintuple duty. I believe there's also a Miss Marple movie or TV adaptation, but it's not on Netflix, so I'm just going to be doing the Poirot one and not the Marple one. The next book that I'm going to be reading for the BookTubeathon is The Elite by Kira Cass. And I know what you're already about to say. Kristen, you hate read this selection. Why are you reading The Elite? Like I said in my video on hate reading the selection, this series is ridiculous. I think it's poorly written. I don't think the plot is very strong. I think the characters are pretty unlikable. The world is very flimsy, on and on and on and on. But it's really fun to watch this train wreck unfold, and despite knowing how the series ends and how the love triangle ends, I still want to watch this train wreck happen. I wanted to continue the series because it is really quick to read and pretty fun to laugh at, and that makes it a really great readathon read. So I decided to go ahead and continue the series for the BookTubeathon. Once again, I could read this book after sunset. It's one that I discovered through BookTube, and it will be contributing to the 7 books that I plan on reading throughout the week. So this does technically fulfill several of the challenges, but nowhere near as many as the last 2 books did. And then I will also be reading the one by Kira Cass and finishing up at least the original Selection trilogy. Like I said, it's a quick read, which is great for a readathon, and despite all its flaws, the series is really fun to make light of, so I will be reading this for the BookTubeathon. I should fly through it because it is pretty much all fluff and no substance. Once again, like with The Elite, I can read this all after sunset. I did discover this because of BookTube, and this will contribute to the 7 books. The next book that I'll be reading for the BookTubeathon is The Iron Trial by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. I've had this book really high up on my TBR for quite a while, and I saw it at the library and I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to read that. It's very short, it's quick, it should be really fun, so it'll be a great readathon read. This one also fulfills several challenges, such as a little bit of yellow on the cover, the fact that, again, I can read it after sunset. I discovered it through BookTube. Cassandra Clare is one of my favorite authors. And then, of course, the 7-book challenge. So this one does actually fulfill several of the challenges, and it's one that I've been meaning to get to for quite a while. Speaking of books that I've been meaning to get to for quite a while, the next book that I'll be reading is Off to Be the Wizard by Scott Meyer. Again, this has been super high on my TBR for like an entire year, and I keep meaning to read it, and I keep not reading it, and I'm finally gonna get to it. Once again, I can read this entire book after sunset if this is the one that I choose to do that with. I did discover this through BookTube back when Lindsay Ray was still making videos. She talked about it, I think, almost a full year ago on her channel, and it really made me want to pick it up. And of course, this will contribute to the 7 books that I intend to read throughout the BookTubeAthon. It is one of the longer ones that I chose for the BookTubeAthon. This year I did manage to get them all under 400 pages, so I do think that it's a very doable TBR, but this is one of the ones that is a little bit longer. I think it's 370 pages, so this one might need to be like a beginning of the week, very motivated read. And finally, the last book that I plan to read for the BookTubeAthon is The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson, which is the 4th book in the Mistborn series, or the 1st book in the Wax and Wane series. Essentially, this book is a spin-off from the original Mistborn trilogy, and it's one of the few adult works by Brandon Sanderson that I haven't gotten to yet, so I am hoping to pick this up. It's a lot shorter than all of his other novels. This is, like I said, less than 400 pages. I think it's maybe like 350, if that. Once again, there is yellow on the cover. I could read it all after sunset. I'm pretty sure I discovered this book through BookTube. And of course, Brandon Sanderson is essentially my favorite author at this point, and it's going to contribute to the 7 books that I will read throughout the BookTubeAthon. So here is my official BookTubeAthon TBR. I'm really optimistic about this TBR because they all are fairly reasonable lengths. I am excited about all 7 of the books that I'm going to be reading, and I think that I'm going to do pretty well this year. I know that last year I lost a little momentum near the end of the week, and I ended up having to switch out some books, but I'm hoping that since I chose all shorter books this year, I won't have to do that. However, if that does end up being the case, I do definitely have some shorter books, some comic books, some manga that I can fall back on, just if I do need to pick up something that's slightly shorter. However, I don't anticipate having to do that because I am legitimately very excited for every single one of these books. As far as reading order for the week, I'm not very sure. I do think that I'm probably going to want to get to Peril at End House early in the week, just so that I have any time in the rest of the week to watch the TV/movie adaptation. But other than that, it's pretty up in the air. As much as I want to get to the selection books at the beginning of the week just to read and enjoy the craziness of those books, I will probably save those until the end, just so if I do start losing momentum, I can read those, because those are ones that I definitely know that I will have fun laughing at. So that is it for my BookTubeAthon TBR. I'm pretty sure that I have fulfilled all of the challenges with these books. I mean, like I said, Peril at End House basically took care of 6 of them for me. Let me know down in the comments if you are also participating in the BookTubeAthon like the majority of BookTube is. Let me know down in the comments also if you've read any of these books and what you think of them, if we're reading any of the same books. Just let me know what you think about these books down in the comments. As always, I will leave links down in the description to my blog, Twitter, and Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!